Hello, I'm Carrie Hatcher, and this is your WEC update. Today we have Jessi Ingram, who is Manager of Energy Services for Wiregrass Electric. So Jessi, as our Manager of Energy Services, you get a lot of calls, I'm sure, about bills being too high and they think they have some type of problem in their house. Mm-hmm. What would be the most complaints that you get?
The most complaints, obviously, in the winter time, of course, is high bills. People just don't understand how their bill is so high, and 9 times out of 10, I won't say 100% of the time, but 9 times out of 10, once I get on location, you can find that their heat pump, if they have a heat pump, has quit working, and they're heating off of heat strips.
How can they tell if that's what their problem is?
Well, if they have a heat pump, the easiest way to check it is just see if the outside unit is running while your heat is on. That's the easiest way to check and see if the outside unit is running while you're in heat mode. And a lot of times you can tell. Of course, I guess if it's 20 degrees outside, you probably don't pay attention, but you actually get a lot warmer heat that comes out of your vents when your strip heat is on versus a heat pump.
Okay. And if they do think they have a problem, if it's strictly the heat pump, do they need to get somebody experienced in heating and cooling to come check that? I
would definitely recommend getting a contractor, a HVAC contractor to check. I can obviously come out and I'm basing strictly off amps. Normal heat pump will pull anywhere according to the SEER rating, but just average is probably anywhere from 15 amps to 20 amps on a heat pump versus anywhere from 45 to 60 amps on strip heat, which in turn you're putting roughly 3.5 to 5 kilowatts per hour that unit runs with a heat pump, and anywhere from 10.5 to 15 kilowatts for every hour that it runs on strip heat.
Okay. And sometimes I know that they can have a problem with ductwork. I had that problem at my house one time. The ductwork came loose from the unit where it blows into my house, and I guess you can tell when that happens by feeling the air that comes out of the vent.
The vents, the air would be a little cooler, or you could have, I know in a double wide trailer, they've got a duct that runs from one side to the other. You may feel air blowing on one side and the air not blowing as much on the other. Thing to keep in mind when you're checking the airflow to see the way it's blowing is to be sure you're using vents pretty close to each other from one side of the home to the other. Because if you check one on one end and one on the other, obviously further away from the unit you get, the lower the pressure is going to be anyway. But and also the temperature, there should be a significant feel in the temperature difference from one side to the other on double wides. Then you have your homes with crawl spaces where you actually just have to crawl under there and check the work. I was under a house probably 3 weeks ago now. Newer home, probably built in the 90s. And this gentleman had hard duct actually, and he had his duct work loose in 2 different places that I found where it was just blowing under the house. Same thing in the attic. You know, they use a lot of flex in attics, maybe some hard pipe on the main trunk, but you know, just getting up there, feeling around it. If you've got the unit on, you can feel the air if it's escaping, if it's a big heat. I mean, you're not going to have a 100% sealed duct system, but, you know, there is ways to check it yourself to see if you may have issues with the duct work.
Okay, sometimes with mobile homes, those are traditionally those with some of the higher energy bills, and people don't often understand because the mobile home is so small compared to a contractor built home. And what is usually the problem with that?
They only have strip heat. Unless they're specifically ordered with a heat pump, they come from the manufacturers with electric strip heat, which is,
Why does strip heat use more energy than a heat pump?
well, it's pulling about 3 times the amps as normal heat pumps. Give us a call, and I promise if I don't have the answer, I will do the research and find out an answer for you and return the call, of course.
Okay, so if they want to call, what's the number they need to call?
Probably just the call center, I guess.
Okay, 1-800-239-4602, and one of the ladies that answers the phone will forward your information to Jessi, and he will get back to you as soon as he can. And our goal is to have all of our members be satisfied with the energy efficiency of their home. There's always ways to improve in a smart way. So thanks, Jessi, for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.